What makes this night different than any other night? That's the question our Jewish brothers and sisters are asking this week as they celebrate Passover. It was a question asked at the beginning of a Passover meal. And tonight, we recall how during that Passover, the Eucharist itself was established. We do this in memory of the Lord. And that's the beginning of a 3-day one feast that begins tonight, where we remember the passion, death, and resurrection of the Lord. Tonight, on a Thursday that we describe as holy, we ourselves are called to holiness. We are called to holiness inasmuch as we begin again to allow ourselves to be touched by the gentleness and compassion of a God who loves us so much that he became one of us and laid down his life for us. Today, in a sense, we come together in our own bits and pieces of humanity. Some of us broken as Christ was by betrayal or trials, even death. Our brokenness is sometimes of our own doing. We sin. We reject the gentleness and compassion of God, and we choose to embrace, in a sense, the violence of darkness and sin. At other times, we are broken by others. Sometimes we might even be innocent, the victim of prejudice or hatred or rejection. But whether the doer or the receiver of the brokenness, the result is the same. We are broken. We come here in the bits and pieces of our lives, somehow seeking the light of Christ, which is promised on Easter, that the brokenness can be healed. It's always amazing to me that on the night that we celebrate the institution of the Eucharist, that the gospel story is really not about Eucharist. It's about what else Jesus says to do. Do in remembrance of him. As I have done, you must do. He washes his disciples' feet. All of us must hear that call to be of service. In our culture, it would not be washing of feet, but it would somehow be the clothing of the naked, or the feeding of the hungry, or reaching out to those who are dispossessed in our society. As the water is poured over the 12 that represent all of us, maybe our own personal prayer can be that the Lord wash away all bitterness from our hearts. Let him cleanse us of our pride, our despair, and our own selfish ways. May we hear the Lord inviting us in a personal way to do this in his memory, to be of service, to be a disciple. What makes this night different than any other night? We are beginning to live again the great story of Christ's unconditional love for us. Let us be attentive.